The wedding caterer just served my great-grandmother's secret pierogi recipe to a room full of strangers, and I'm watching my new husband's face turn white as 5 different women storm toward our head table screaming wife. Let me back up. 3 months ago, I hired Celestial Catering for what I thought would be the perfect wedding. The owner, Marcus Sterling, had this charm that could melt butter. Tall, silver-haired, spoke about food like poetry. When he tasted my family's pierogi during our consultation, his eyes literally rolled back. "This is extraordinary," he whispered, like he'd found the Holy Grail. "For generations of Polish tradition, you said?" I nodded proudly. My great-grandmother Babcia brought these recipes from Krakow in 1952. The pierogi filling was her secret, a blend of potatoes, farmer's cheese, and caramelized onions with mysterious spices she never wrote down. I'd spent years perfecting it from memory and family stories. Marcus begged me to let him recreate it for the wedding. "I want to honor your heritage," he said, placing his hand over his heart. "This deserves to be celebrated properly." I was so flattered. Finally, someone who understood food was love, was history, was everything that mattered. I gave him the recipe. My grandmother's galumpki. My aunt's babka. Even my mother's secret krusiki technique. The wedding day arrived. Everything looked perfect: white roses, string quartet, me in my grandmother's dress. Then the appetizers came out, and I froze. Those were my family's pierogi. But something felt wrong. That's when the screaming started. "Marcus Sterling, you lying piece of trash!" A blonde woman in a designer dress marched through the reception, followed by 4 other women. All different ages, all furious, all wearing wedding rings. "Ladies and gentlemen," the blonde announced to my 150 wedding guests, "you're eating stolen family recipes served by my husband of 12 years. "Your husband?" shrieked a redhead. "We got married in Vegas last month." "Vegas?" "I married him in Cabo 6 months ago," yelled a brunette. My brain couldn't process it. This was my wedding day. This was supposed to be perfect. I looked at my actual husband David, who looked as confused as I felt. But Marcus? Marcus was backing toward the kitchen like a cornered rat. The blonde kept talking. "Marcus has been running this scam for years. He seduces women, steals their family recipes, then disappears after the wedding. I've been tracking him across 3 states. My pierogi turned to concrete in my stomach. Those weren't just my recipes being served. They were trophies. Evidence of every woman he'd conned. The galumpki is from his wife in Denver," the blonde continued, pointing at the buffet. "The babka is from Phoenix. The krusiki, that's from his wife in Portland. And those pierogi? His newest victim." Every eye in the room turned to me. My face burned. My guests were eating stolen memories while my wedding turned into a Jerry Springer episode. Marcus bolted for the back exit. The 5 wives chased after him like a pack of wolves. My guests stood there with appetizer plates, mouths hanging open. David grabbed my hand. "Sarah, I had no idea." "I know. But I felt stupid. Violated. My great-grandmother's legacy was being served at other people's weddings, other people's celebrations, stripped of meaning and love. That night, I couldn't sleep. While David snored beside me, I sat at my laptop researching Marcus Sterling. The rabbit hole went deep. Food Network forums full of complaints. Wedding planning sites with warnings. A Facebook group called Victims of Marcus Sterling with over 200 members. He'd been doing this for 15 years. Different names, different cities, same pattern. Seduce women through food, steal their recipes, move on. He sold the recipes to restaurants, published them in cookbooks under his name, built his whole empire on stolen heritage. I found his real website, not the fake Celestial Catering page he'd shown me. Marcus Sterling, celebrity chef and cookbook author. There was my pierogi recipe on page 1, renamed Sterling's Signature Polish Pockets. That's when the rage hit. Pure, white-hot fury that made my vision blur. He hadn't just stolen recipes. He'd stolen pieces of souls. Grandmother's whispered secrets. Mother's kitchen lessons. Traditions passed down through wars and immigration and heartbreak. I joined the Facebook group that night. Posted my story. Within hours, I had messages from dozens of women. We'd all been targeted the same way. Food consultation, fake romance, recipe theft, disappearance. But together, we were powerful. I coordinated with the blonde, her name was Patricia, Marcus's first legal wife. We mapped out his pattern, his locations, his methods. Other women contributed evidence, photos, documentation. Then I called my cousin Jake, who happens to be a food blogger with 500k Instagram followers. Want to help me destroy a recipe thief? I asked. The exposé went live 1 week later. The Recipe Predator, how one chef built his empire on stolen heritage. Jake didn't hold back. Screenshots of stolen recipes, interviews with victims, side-by-side comparisons showing Marcus's original creations were actually our family traditions with different names. Within 24 hours, it had 1 million views. Food Network dropped him. His cookbook publisher pulled his books from stores. Restaurants started removing his recipes from menus. But I wasn't done. I contacted every food magazine, every cooking website, every culinary school that had ever featured him. Sent them proof. Demanded corrections. Made sure his name would forever be linked with recipe thief in Google searches. The Facebook group grew to 800 members. We created a database of stolen recipes, traced them back to their real families, and started a campaign to credit the actual creators. Marcus tried to fight back. Sent me threatening emails. Called me a vindictive woman trying to destroy his life. Too late. Patricia had already filed for bigamy charges. The IRS was investigating his unreported income from stolen recipes. Immigration was looking into his fraudulent businesses. Last month, I got the call. Marcus Sterling was arrested at a wedding venue in Miami, trying to con his next victim. He's facing charges in 5 states. But the real victory? I got my recipes back. All of them. The judge ordered him to remove them from all publications and transfer any profits to the original families. I published Babcia's pierogi recipe myself, with her photo and the real story. Within a month, it had 50,000 shares and hundreds of comments from other Polish families sharing their own versions and memories. My great-grandmother's recipe is back where it belongs, with people who understand it's not just food. It's love made edible. It's history you can taste. It's the smell of home on a cold day. Marcus stole our recipes, but he couldn't steal what made them special. He couldn't steal the hands that first kneaded that dough, the stories told while rolling pierogi, the love that made them taste like home. Some things can't be stolen. They can only be shared. Have you experienced something like this? Tell me in the comments.